Yesterday marked Donald Trump's return to power, and he wasted no time in signing dozens of executive orders to force through his agenda. On day one, Trump acted like a dictator, just as he said he would. As Axios put it, Trump dared the courts, Congress, and his fragmented opposition to stand in the way of what could be his most enduring legacy, a radical expansion of presidential power. Perhaps the most surreal moment was his being sworn in at the same location that was ransacked by his supporters just a bit over 4 years ago on January 6, 2021. Even more stunning, last night Trump pardoned nearly all of those January 6 defendants. Trump's pardon included individuals associated with the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers who were convicted of seditious conspiracy, most notably Enrique Tarrio, the Proud Boys leader, who was sentenced to 22 years. Also included in Trump's pardon was Stewart Rhodes, founder of the far-right militia group Oath Keepers. Rhodes was sentenced to 18 years in prison in 2023 for seditious conspiracy. 3 other Proud Boys leaders, Joseph Biggs, Zachary Rehl, and Ethan Nordian, were also pardoned. Biggs was sentenced to 17 years in prison, Rehl to 15 years in prison, Nordian to 18 years in prison, all of them being found guilty of seditious conspiracy, among other charges. Trump is reported to have signed close to 100 executive orders, although as of the time I'm making this video, there are 41 listed on whitehouse.gov, which means more are on the way. Clearly, his intention to rule like a dictator extends far beyond day one. Trump's executive orders are largely intended to circumvent Congress and to get his agenda rolling as quickly as possible. In some cases, such as the executive order to end birthright citizenship, Trump is even looking to reinterpret the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. Another example of Trump's willingness to openly defy U.S. law is his refusal to ban TikTok. Despite the law passing with the support of over 80% of Congress and being unanimously upheld by the Supreme Court. Instead, he signed an executive order without citing any legal authority, giving himself the right to find a buyer or ultimately ban the app in 75 days. Again, he does not have any legal authority to do this. On a scarier note, Trump revoked a 2023 executive order signed by Biden that sought to reduce the risk that artificial intelligence poses to consumers, workers, and national security. Trump is basically giving the private sector the green light to develop AI as it sees fit. Connected to this, Trump is set to announce billions of dollars in private sector investment to build artificial intelligence infrastructure in the United States, with OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle all planning a joint venture called, and this is not a joke, Stargate. Stargate will start with a data center project in Texas and eventually expand to other states. So we have to wonder, with a name like Stargate and the goal of developing AI infrastructure in the United States, what could possibly go wrong? On a much smaller scale, another unnerving thing that stood out to a lot of us was how Trump did not place his hand on the Bible as he was being sworn in. Numerous pictures show that Trump kept his left arm at his side while taking the oath of office. Looking at the video, however, it does appear Chief Justice Roberts started giving the oath to Trump a bit early, and that Melania, who was holding the Bibles that Trump used in 2017, was a tad late in walking over next to Trump. Not that Trump looked for the Bibles either, of course. Now, Trump certainly knows that his not putting his hand on the Bible might upset his Christian supporters. So it wouldn't surprise me if the White House announced that Trump had privately done this later in the day. Whether or not that's true is another story. Having said that, there is a certain ominous feeling to Trump not putting his hand on the Bible while swearing to defend the Constitution, especially in light of the fact that just a couple of hours later, he's signing dozens of executive orders. It seems to be a foreshadowing of what is to come. At Trump's inaugural celebration, Elon Musk gave a rather frenetic speech, including an awkward gesture that has been described as a Heil Hitler salute used by the Nazis. Of course, Musk is famously a troll on X, so it's possible that he was simply trying to spark a reaction in people, but judging from his response to the outrage, that doesn't seem to be the case. Musk posted on X, "Frankly, they need better dirty tricks. The everyone is Hitler attack is so tired." Musk, by the way, already has a White House email address and is about to get a West Wing office. So with or without the salute, Musk will have a great deal of access to Trump going forward. For his part, Trump's inaugural speech lasted about 30 minutes, and at 2,888 words, it was almost exactly twice as long as the speech he gave in 2017. Curiously, in yesterday's speech, Trump did use the word "I" almost twice as much as any other word. He also made several comments that caught my ear, such as that he was saved by God to make America great again, although this sounded a bit insincere, considering he didn't even place his hand on the Bible when he was sworn in. Apparently, God knows that only Trump can truly make America great, although it does remain a mystery as to why God saved Trump, but didn't also save the fireman who died in the assassination attempt. I suppose he wasn't essential to making America great again. Two other quotes of Trump stood out to me as he talked about how the golden age of America begins right now and how sunlight is pouring over the entire world. In a few older videos, I talked about how the final Antichrist is connected to the sun god and to gold, with gold itself even coming to symbolize the sun god in pagan cultures going back thousands of years. Trump's preoccupation with gold is a known fact. Speaking of gold, a friend of the channel pointed out that Trump started selling gold edition Bibles a couple of days ago, although they appear to be sold out right now, or at least will be until more arrive from China. It's truly stunning that so much of what we see with Trump points to him being the golden idol of modern Christianity, right down to the literal golden Bibles he sells to Christians. Another friend of the channel forwarded this rather disturbing image to me, which is now apparently circulating online a bit in the aftermath of Trump's inauguration. This AI picture has not one, but two images of Jesus on the cross behind Trump, as if Trump wrapped in a flag, posing like Jesus, surrounded by disciples, and with two images of Jesus behind him all weren't enough. If we zoom in just a bit on the face of Trump in this image, we see that the right eye appears to be shut and possibly blind. This is straight out of Zechariah 11:17, as many of us know, which makes me think that this image just might have been done by a Christian who is trying to subtly warn other Christians about Trump. If it wasn't, perhaps it's another example of him hiding in plain sight. Considering the craziness that permeates so much of Trump world, it can be hard to get a handle on where we might be headed over the next few months. However, the biblical descriptions for the Antichrist give us a good idea. So with that in mind, here are 5 of the many specific descriptions of the final Antichrist that's in your Bible, and they provide a good overview for what we should expect to happen in 2025. Number 1, the Antichrist will succeed in all that he does, which means that Donald Trump will have a great deal of success in his second term, at least success as defined by him and his supporters. The economy will be great, the border will be fixed, patriotism will be at an all-time high, peace will come to various places around the world, and perhaps above all, Trump will receive the kind of worldwide praise he has craved for so long. But this success that Trump will have will also make it harder for many Christians to care about whether or not he is the biblical Antichrist. And that is because too many of us are wrapped up in the things of this world, especially material things. Number 2, the Antichrist is empowered by a demonic force, which means he will appear to be unstoppable, and indeed, it is only Jesus who eventually stops him. And so we will hear constantly how amazing it is for Trump to have so much energy and accomplish so much at nearly 80 years of age. It will help to reinforce the idea among his supporters that he was chosen by God, when in fact the Bible teaches us precisely the opposite. Number 3, the Antichrist casts truth itself to the ground, as if it was worthless. And this not only means that he is a pathological liar, but that truth itself is meaningless to him. So we should expect that Trump will continue to make up his own reality, just as he has always done, unless the truth benefits him in some way. And Trump's desire to conjure up his own reality is a frightening prospect when he is also the leader of the most powerful nation on earth. Number 4, the Antichrist goes out conquering, which means exactly what it says. He will seek to expand his empire while also destroying his enemies. Trump's remarks about Canada, Greenland, and the Panama Canal come to mind, so it's easy to believe that he wants to become the king of North America, which has kind of an odd resemblance to the Bible verses about the king of the North. But it's important to remember that Trump said the enemies within this country are more dangerous than those on the outside, which is a dead giveaway that he intends to seek as much vengeance as he can and to remake America in his own image. I always say we have two enemies. We have the outside enemy, and then we have the enemy from within. And the enemy from within, in my opinion, is more dangerous than China, Russia, and all these countries. Number 5, the Antichrist will magnify himself above others, which is talked about in several Bible verses. Part of magnifying himself above others is the extreme boastfulness we find in Trump, which is also specifically mentioned as a trait of the Antichrist. This means that we should expect that Trump will continue to seek to have his own name glorified above others. He has always done this, but now he has more opportunities to do so on a worldwide scale. Based on just a few of the biblical descriptions of the Antichrist, we can expect, at least in the short term, the following things. The Trump administration will be successful. Trump will continue to have unusual energy for a man his age. Trump will continue to throw truth to the ground, now more than ever. Trump will go out conquering, especially those who oppose him within the United States. Trump will continue to magnify his own name above all others. So that's where we're headed in 2025. But as we all know, everything surrounding Trump is chaos. And thus we have to literally be ready for almost any scenario that might be coming down the pike. Because one thing is for sure, there are not many days left.